Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Getting badgered by presentation after presentation? Let's see if we can make this one a bit, controversial perhaps, provocative, and interactive if possible. Okay, let me just figure this out. My first slide has gone away, but the first slide said the disruption genome, right? So I represent the enterprise view, and I remember having done a similar keynote in one of your world summits or another conference, and life has evolved since then, with having a look at very closely the journey that we crafted in the Emirates Group, and so has my view on certain parameters that I presented then. So bear with me, as some of them might be a bit of a repetition if you've seen the keynote before, and some things have changed, right? So the big debate still, if you look at an enterprise and not the Ubers and not the Amazons and not the external, some of these digital natives, if you look at a group like ours, perhaps also Cisco, some of the humble incumbents, there is this raging debate in our minds, isn't there? One side of the brain says, is this whole digital disruption, digital transformation, a bit of a fake news? Where is the value, Show me one company, a large enterprise, which has actually changed from within and actually delivered value. That's one viewpoint. And some others might hold the view, this is it. This is a panacea, right, which is going to make us, humble incumbents, go at the same pace, the same velocity, the same valuations as some of the digitally native companies that we've all experienced in our lifetime, right? So it's an interesting, dichotomous, paradoxical view. Let me share some of my thoughts. You are free to form your own opinions, as everybody should in this room and worldwide. But here are some of my thoughts on this debate, right? The big challenge really in the Emirates Group and per se in large enterprises is this beautiful challenge of changing from within, right? Isn't it? It's getting the organization to change from within, right? This is not an attempt at mass hypnotization, so don't worry about it. Given my roots, you might think I'm going to do some voodoo here. But can I take a few seconds of your time and ask you to just close your eyes for a few seconds for me, right? Close your eyes and think of an egg. And think of the egg and think of it breaking from the outside. When the egg breaks from the outside, at best you get breakfast, right? Now close your eyes for a second more and think of the egg breaking from the inside, right? And what do you see? You see life, you see rejuvenation, you see reinvention, right? So in the simple paradigm of the egg breaking from the inside, an enterprise changing from within, there is this organic metaphor of rejuvenation and reinvention, right? So there is an opportunity out there, right? My own experience comes from, I'll take two examples, one very personal. So I have a teenage daughter. She came to me one of these days, and how many of you have teenage kids? Yeah? Teenage daughters? Okay, it's a species of their own. If you've dealt with them, my son was okay, but daughter is very interesting, right? So one day she came to me and said, listen, I want to write poetry, right, which our entire lineage, nobody in my family has ever done poetry, right? So daughter comes and says, I want to write poetry in the intersection of food and poetry, right? Food and... So I said, okay, very interesting, so do it. And she wrote some great poems, actually, very teenage stuff, which I didn't understand, but it looked very enticing. And then I said, okay, let me help you publish this poem, right? So what did I do? As a non-digital father, not thinking like in the digital era, I took her poem, a PDF, went to the cheapest Karama shop, did a bit of design, and got a book out. That evening, I had it, I gave it to her. I said, see, your poetry is now published, right? Which was the number of, people who were, audience was just two, myself and her, right? Even her mother hadn't seen it, right? Then that night, I said, let me just experience the digital era a bit on the personal side, right? So that evening, I went to Upwork, and I said, I'm looking for an artist who can do... So I wrote the whole story. My daughter wants to do this, da-da-da. In 12 hours after that, I had responses from the whole globe right? Which is quite amazing. I had some folks, kids, some people, Upwork, as you know, and various different codes. Within 12 hours, I chose a young millennial for obvious reasons. She had no credits in Upwork, so she had not earned any money. I chose her for obvious reasons, and I said, okay, you do the design. Within 5 days of that design, of giving that order on the net for artwork, she created 8 artworks for 8 poetry. I then assimilated those into a book. And then I said, okay, now the book is now ready, beautiful, because it has art, it has poetry, it has food. There's an intersection of a few things here. This sounds a bit innovative. My daughter was totally oblivious to what I was doing. And then I said, how do I publish this? So I went to 2 big platforms, Amazon and SmartWords. And I'm not going to keep lingering with the story, but from the day a kid sitting in her, room late evening comes up with an idea that I'm going to do poetry in the intersection of art, food, and teenage stuff. 12 days later, we were able to publish that and earn $2 of revenue on Amazon. The $2 doesn't matter because, to be very honest, that was bought by me. I published it on another platform, SmartWords or something, and they're still chasing me saying, you have $2.32, which bank account can you give me to? But to me, that's absolutely, it's an opportunity era. It's unbelievable that I don't think anybody could do this previously. So something has definitely shifted, right? Now, the other one is, everybody here knows, let me ask, do you folks know of 1111? 1111, anybody in the room, 1111? Ma'am, do you want to reach out and tell us what 1111 is? You wouldn't have expected me to ask you, but would you mind? Yeah. 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 1111, yeah. What it is, yeah? So let me perhaps share with you, right? So you have all these sales events in the West, help me here. What do you have? The Black Friday or October sale. There is a day of sale, yeah? Typically $3 to $4 billion are earned or whatever, right? So Alibaba and Tmall CEO, 2008-9 said, we need an event in China. So he created an event, so not religious or anything else. He just created an event, called it the Singles Day. It's 11 of 11, right? And singles or married people, whoever else, started shopping on Tmall and Alibaba, right? Any guesses in the room, 11/11/2017, how much revenue was earned through Alibaba's various online platforms in a single 24-hour day? Any guesses? Give me a guess. Don't Google it, but. 4 billion. 20 billion. Yeah, can you even believe this sentences? Just to give you a view, I did my TEDx a while back so that you can see that I said 18. Last year, $25 billion were transacted in a single day. Yeah? When we were looking at Alibaba as one of the possible partners, because they have great tech as much as you do, one of the guys very humbly said in a meeting that we are not really a platform, we run pretty much a mini economy, right? $500 billion goes through the Alibaba platforms in a year. For all the sales guys here, it's a struggle to get money, man. So, for me, okay, personally and from an enterprise perspective, something is definitely out there shifting and something for us to consider. But at the same time, I remember 2013, December, in one of the board meetings, our presidents commissioned what is a much cliched digital transformation project or initiative, right? I remember 2-3 years of research when people used to ask me, give me one good example of an enterprise which is, close to digital transformation. I used to use GE, to be honest, right? And look at what's happening, right? So there is, as much as there is all these great stories, there is a fair bit of disillusionment, right? So it's an interesting paradigm and paradox, and for you to also think about in the context of changing from within, right? So having said this, I'm a tech guy, I'm a nerd. When I did my master's, we used to have a house which looked the normal way. I mean, the world of tech you guys invented every day is completely changed, right? I remember when we did our first data lake and we created what was called Helix and we built our customer genomes, when the engineers would come and talk to me, I mean, fine, Hadoop I knew, right? But Hive, Pig, I mean, these things, I had no idea what they're talking about, right? Tech is changing. It's fundamentally going through a rehash in all dimensions of tech, right? So that's one trend you are well aware of. I mean, a lot of people speak about this. I won't delve on it a lot, but this is a very passionate subject. I think, I just recently ran a hackathon in the Valley. We didn't call it a hackathon because it was a bit more of an appathon, and it was dedicated to artificial intelligence. And we had around similar, Emirates launches an hackathon, the world response, which is beautiful, right? We had a good number of teams, 60, 70 people. And, I felt for the first time, one of the most difficult subjects of AI, a part of it is actually getting commoditized, right? I mean, within 24, 48 hours, the folks were producing models of all types, right? Attacking the problems that we had given them. I mean, I don't know, most people are now aware, but this whole Go game, which AlphaGo won, the reason I put my slide as move 37 is because during move 37 of the Go game, the AlphaGo algorithm played a move which Lee Sedol couldn't believe. I mean, it was like a divine move, And so in Go, there is something that humanity does or the experts do, which is typically called a divine move. I mean, you can't. So the computer played that, right? So it's reaching that level of maturity where it's very, very relevant to an enterprise. So, that's another big trend. Blockchain, there are various views here as well. People relate blockchain to Bitcoin or whatever. But the fact remains that last year, 2017, there were $5 billion worth of ICOs, more than the firms, more than the VCs had raised funds. Till this month in 2018, despite all the issues with prices dipping, there's $3 billion already of ICOs, right? So this world presents an opportunity for examining your business, the theory of the firm, from a completely different perspective. So these are some of the underpinning technology, kind of ground level changes, tectonic changes, which are helping one way or the other, examining your business models, right? And I love, if you ever get to meet Ray Wang, he works out of the Valley. We call him in for, some of our innovation summits. I love this, It's not just about, and here's my opinion now. So I'm going to share my viewpoint based on some of the work we've done in Emirates, some of my own kind of research into this tricky subject of digitally transforming a large enterprise. But I'm with Ray on this. I think you cannot wait. That's not an option. Digital Darwinism is unkind to those who wait. So you've got to move in any case, whether you like it or not, right? So, and then the big question, as an enterprise, I see a lot of, what do you call that? A bit, for the annual report, right? I've seen a lot of annual reports saying, we did digital transformation, and all they mean is handing off some iPads to their sales force, and that's fine. That adds value, but being digital, a completely different game, right? It's transforming from within, being digital, and I'll share my viewpoint on what I mean there. It's a completely different ballgame, right? It's not about writing apps. It's not about sending a few iPads to your sales force, right? It's something much more deeper, yeah. So here's a view. Let me share a bit of this. The other viewpoint, there's debate. I remember, when we were forming our team within Emirates Group, there was a lot of debate around the topic, should we just set up a separate unit to disrupt Emirates from outside, as the world, seems to be doing that. Most of disruption is outside in rather than inside out. Should we do it within? Should we infuse? There are various strategies to digital transformation of large enterprises. How do you go about it, right? So I still don't know the answer. So if somebody in the room has an answer, feel free to share. That would be good, a bit of good interaction there. But here are a few things you need to do, right? The fact is that you have to set up, I put networks there, but you have to set up an examination of your business models, right? And you can't stop that, just when I thought one of the exponential business models when we crafted Think Travel, Think Emirates, which is like a marketplace business model or a network effect-based business model for travel. When we put that in place, and that's what we are now looking at implementing, the fact is, while that is just, I mean, it's kind of maturing, blockchain and peer-to-peer and distributed presents a completely different business model, right? So I guess one of the parts of a disruption genome is setting up something at the exec level, because business model discussions typically need leadership intervention, and that's what's happening in Emirates Group as well. You need an examination of the business model, look at some of these things that are happening, and set up both external and internal people to have a look, right? I mean, the other big area is most of enterprises, whether you like it or not, are driven by this folklore, right, of, we've been there, we've been so successful, and there is this whole storyline, right? You might see it in your own organization. When you meet up, you're having a dinner, people talk about, hey, in my organization, we used to do things like this, The data used to say this, our hunch used to say this, we used to go for the hunch, and things used to work out, right? I mean, aviation is full of that, right? People who've been there, done it, and done it very successfully, right? So how do you start shifting that narrative from hunches, which are all good? I mean, there's human intuition, and the human brain is much more powerful than all the machines available. But how do you augment that with, a bit more data-driven and AI approach, an AI baked-in approach, Not AI at the edges, but AI at the center of your processes, right? And I think that's another key capability for the digital genome or large enterprises looking at that, right? In Emirates, I mean, this is one of our biggest drives to look at AI. We've got a few startups, we've got a big established companies working towards saying, how do we bake AI into our business processes, right? The third bit here, I mean, the cadence of some of these digital native organizations, I mean, they beat all the legacy organizations. The speed, the velocity, the agile teams, the design thinking. So, I mean, that's crucial, I think, as enterprises craft their digital journey, that look at velocity of the company is crucial, right? So, within the group, I mean, a few years back when we started this journey, at the fringes, people used to talk about agile and sprinting. And, when people thought sprints, it was like the cloud, people used to look up. But I mean, with increasingly, you'll see HR sprints, IT sprints, sprint as a methodology, agility, velocity, seeping into the organizational culture. I think that's pretty crucial. I think you said it in your last presentation. I mean, you can't do this alone. I mean, just forget it. I mean, it's too complex. You need to get an ecosystem of partners. I mean, the normal case I take here on co-creators, when I did the first hackathon for travel, I was already 20 years into the company, and so were all other colleagues who did that, right? And I mean, I can tell you what the students came up with. So we had the first hackathon in the Silicon Valley. We had 300 kids and all sorts of people come and tell us about travel, right? I mean, brilliant, right? The ideas they came up with, we would never would have dreamed of coming up with those ideas, right? So ability to have this mesh of partnerships and creating that partnership ecosystem. And as you know, I mean, in the group, we have spent a lot of time doing it. We have an innovation lab within the group. We've got Oxford, Carnegie Mellon, Intelak, DFA, Area 2071, and people might say maybe you're doing a bit too much. Not an issue. Not an issue, right? Let the sunshine come in, co-create with the world rather than trying to do everything yourself. And of course, with our big partners, yourselves and some of the other partners, right? And I mean, this is a big word. What I mean here is, how do you know, right, that the curve on the next turn is something relevant to your enterprise, something that is going to change the world, or something that is going to fizzle out? How do you know, right? That acumen over perceptions, right? I mean, in the open source world, it's driven by how many engineers get connected to an open community. So it gives you a sense. But how do you know? How do you know what I'm saying here, AI, blockchain, is relevant to your enterprise or not, right? I think it's a big question, My personal view there is, you do that by setting up experimentation, right? Set up something in your organization and somehow find the wherewithal to talk to your CFOs, to talk to your execs, and not be too worried in this experimentation about immediate ROI, because it ain't going to happen, right? I mean, if it is far out, your ROI is not going to be visible to you immediately when you start the experiment, right? So this was a big change, I must say, in the group, where ability to do fast-paced experiments along with the business so that you get a bit of an idea, I mean, I can tell you today, between Fly Dubai and Emirates, as we speak, There is a ticket coming up, let's say between Kathmandu and, it's not Kathmandu, actually it's one of the ONDs. So let's say, origin A to origin C, one leg is Fly Dubai, one leg is Emirates. Right now, as we speak, we have a smart contract on a cloud, which we have developed with one of the startups, which is prorating this ticket in real time and settling the two accounts in real time for that OND, right? And I can tell you, till you actually go into the depths and do a smart contract yourself, you have no clue as to what the impact is, what are the issues, right? I did a chatbot for a contact center. 6 months we were struggling, So that experimentation is crucial. And if people like Cisco can help with that, to help with the experimentation agenda, it's crucial. Because till you get your hands dirty and you actually do stuff, you don't know. You don't know the value, and you don't know what it will cost you and the grief that there will be, right? Because PowerPoints are easy, doing is difficult, right? So, I mean, one other bit is this perpetual debate. Should now in the digital era, all my execs actually know coding? What about the tech? I mean, even in the group, we have always this debate, right? My humble opinion is, I mean, of course not. I mean, we don't want you to start looking at how to run distributed computing, right? But they should be, in my view, technology is moving away from a skill to a competence. And we encourage now a lot of our business managers to actually immerse themselves in this new world, Just like you are doing now here, I mean, that's crucial, sowing the seeds of tech and the revolution that's taking place is crucial, because then they will see the opportunities more than maybe a lab or somebody external, right? So, I mean, I feel these are some of the critical genes for a genome. And then, of course, I mean, last but not the least, the fact is, for a consumer business, the kids are experiencing the consumer world in a completely different way than we used to, right? And I think Accenture coined the term, so I'm just going to use that, the liquid expectation, right? A consumer uses an app or a digital interface in a particular way, they expect Cisco's, they expect Emirates, they expect any other company to have a similar experience, right? So this obsession with the customer, almost a fetish, I mean, it's a bit of an extreme word, is important as well, as you craft some of these other things, I think at the core should be this obsession for the customer, and I feel the likes of Amazon, led by Jeff Bezos, I mean, these are some of the things that these guys do well, right? So here's my viewpoint. If you examine some of this, perhaps the journey of digital transformation for an enterprise can begin, because it's the kickstart that's important, and then you learn and you evolve. I mean, a couple of other thoughts. You do all of this good stuff, and you don't change mindsets, especially the leadership mindsets. I mean, not much is going to progress. And that, to me, is one of the most difficult bits in any large enterprise, because we will all be very happy in annual reports, yeah? But it is very difficult to change yourself and as leaders, right? And I have no idea how to do it, but perhaps, engaging them with experimentation, engaging them with forums like this, showing them through experimentation the value of what the digital era presents itself. But this is crucial to the digital disruption, if indeed an enterprise has to do it, right? So, and I mean, before I wrap up, as I said, I mean, there is still that viewpoint around this being a bit of a fake news, because it's all good if everybody starts saying, okay, Nitin came into our conference and we had a great discussion around some genome. So I'm going to set up agile teams. I'm going to change my leadership culture. I'm going to do some AI blockchain. And then, when the annual report comes up, your revenues are going down, your profit is not going up, and your customers are all unhappy. I mean, it ain't going to happen, right? I feel some of the examples I took, you cannot drop the ball on the basics of the business. It's about making money. It's about increasing revenues, decreasing costs, and obsessing about your customers. I'm sorry, all of that finally has to somehow relate to all of this, right? So there are lots of examples of, big, large companies which went to the valley set up 2,000 engineers and said, we are now a software company, yeah, good, but make money first, because otherwise you won't remain one for long, right? So I guess you all understand that's crucially important. That is it. That is my viewpoint. I hope as you think through, as representatives of large enterprises, or as supporters and partners to large enterprises, this has been helpful. Feel free to reach out to me, and share your own views. So thank you very much, guys.